D.N.R. Do not resuscitate. That is what I wanted tattooed on my arm. As a child, living with the Wicked Witch of West Vancouver, Alice Sellers, and Frank, who molested me, and Tina, who bullied me my entire life and tried to kill me with knives on several occasions, and Alice just laughs it off because apparently trying to stab your sister is funny. This is the kind of psychotic behavior I grew up with, where everybody just lies and covers for each other because they're so sick and twisted and they have their own secrets that they can't expose the other person's secrets because they're in fear of their own secrets being discovered then. That's why when I would threaten to call the police to protect myself, they would stand there and laugh and call me crazy and say things like, haha, look at this stupid kid. She thinks she's going to call the cops on us. And trying to bully me into feeling stupid, which obviously worked because I only called the cops on them a couple of times. And when you're rich and live in West Vancouver, apparently you can get away with child abuse or threatening to hire a hitman for 10 grand to kill your daughter, or molesting your grandchild, or any of the other horrific things that I've survived. And that's why I spent my entire childhood wanting to die, wanting to kill myself. But as Alice said exactly, I was too much of a coward to kill myself. Because I was afraid that if it backfired and didn't work, I would be so severely handicapped that I would be forever stuck under the care of Alice. That I would not be able to speak and explain to anybody that I needed somebody else to care for me and to get her the fucking hell away from me, and that I'd have to listen to her abusing me for the rest of my life. And that was the greatest fear, of that it wouldn't work, and I'd be trapped with an able mind and a disabled body, and with absolutely no way to escape her. So that's why I waited until I was 17 and had the first chance I could to move out, and had to move out for my sanity because of all their fighting and beating each other and screaming and yelling. I couldn't concentrate, and I knew that I needed to graduate high school. So for my sanity and to guarantee that I would graduate, I moved out at 17 into a house full of guys in Burnaby who none of them had graduated, so they drove me into West Vancouver every single day to get me to school to make sure I finished my last few months of school. These are the crazy steps, extreme steps that I had to take to try and protect myself. And yeah, if I had been old enough to be able to get a tattoo, I would have had D.N.R. tattooed on my arm. But then when I was old enough to get the tattoo, that was when I was having ways to escape the abuse, and it wasn't so bad. And there was other people in my life who were protecting me and helping me get away from her. But I would always get sucked back into the cycle until I had Austin to protect. And then I made sure that he was no longer in their picture. Even a judge denied Alice any access to my child, and Frank and Tina. But now some fucked up social worker who can't read a file or decided to take payoffs from Alice has now decided she knows better than a judge. And my child has been held hostage by Alice Sellers and MCFD for 3.5 years, and nobody has seen or heard from him. Okay, so for argument's sake, say I'm a liar and I'm a bad person and I did something wrong. Then why is my child being held hostage from everybody else he's ever known in his entire life? If it was just me, then he'd be allowed to talk to the people that he loves, and he would have been placed with the people that he loves and his family, and he would know the truth. But because this is all a big fuck up, and nobody wants to admit their mistakes, my child is not allowed to see anybody he's ever known in his entire life. And now I'm living in this pure fucking hell of trauma where I wake up to basically essentially the murder of my child every single day. And there's no healing or grieving process because he's not actually dead. He's living in fucking hell. And he'll never be able to have a functioning relationship or a functioning life. When he finds out the truth of what's happened to him, we'll be lucky if he doesn't shoot up government buildings and Alice and Frank and Tina for lying to him. And we'll be lucky if he doesn't kill himself. But he'll never be able to trust anybody. He'll have major abandonment issues, which I'm sure he already has. And he'll never have the life that I tried to give him. Because everything that I did to protect him got undone by fucking government assholes who are now advocating for the people who abused me my whole entire life, and now they're abusing my child, and now I'm back in that state of wanting D.N.R. on my arm because who the fuck wants to live in a world where you can't protect your child? And everything that you do to protect them just doesn't work. The people who've tried to reunite Austin and I get fired. And every single other agency says they don't have the power to deal with MCFD, and I don't have the money to hire the right kind of lawyer. So my child is fucked because I don't have the money. Because there's a price on my child's head. That's the kind of disgusting world we live in, and that's why a mom would want D.N.R. on her arm, because who wants to live in a world where their child is being abused and nobody is standing up to protect him? And the truth can't be heard because I don't have the money and the power to get heard by a judge, and so all the years of evidence that I have just keeps getting ignored. Because when you have a big corrupt government system going against you, that's what they do, is make sure you're never heard or seen from. And now my child is paying the price of these assholes who don't want to tell the truth or do anything to save him. And I'm sure he probably wants D.N.R. put on his arm too. Because of the hell that he's living in. Who the hell wants to live in a fucked up world like this?